Welcome back everyone to the Blender Creator course, Stylized 3D Models, and this is where we left it off. Alright, so first of all, let's bring in our Asset Manager again. Let's put it on to, can we put it on all actually? Yeah, maybe we can. Let's have a look. Wooden supports, wooden blocks. Yes, we can. So wooden supports, wooden blocks. Let's use that instead, then we ain't got to keep swapping between them. Alright, so 3 meters. Let's have a look and bring this one in. And I want it obviously to be different. The only thing I'm going to do with this is press S and X, shrink it down a little bit, and I just want it into the floor, making sure that it's in on the floor. And this then will make sure that the building looks properly when it's actually grounded on the floor. If we don't put those in, it just won't look right. Just making sure then that this is not the same as this, which it is, as you can see. So RZ, 180, spin it round. Now it looks different from this. And then finally, let's bring in a 2.5 meter one, drop that in there. And this one we might need to change once we have our door in, because the door is actually going to come up to, you know, this point and this point here. So we might need to cut some of this away. But for now, we'll leave that like that. Now, let's think about our window. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first of all grab my guy. I'm going to press Shift H to hide everything else around him. And now I know how big roughly a window needs to be, because you know how big a window is in comparison to a human or a person. So what we're going to do now is press Shift S, cursor selected, and how we're going to make this window is we want a nice round window. So what I'm going to do is first of all I'm going to press Shift A, I'm going to come down to Mesh, bring in a cylinder, and the thing is, when you're thinking about cylinders, you need to think, how many vertices is it going to have? At the moment, this looks great and all that, but it's going to have a lot of vertices and we don't really want that. So what I want to do is, I want to put this on something like 24, for instance, like so. And that then is going to make it much easier and a much lower amount of vertices to actually work with. Once I've got that, if now I move my cylinder away, this is going to disappear. So the moment I even move it up, that disappears and you can't go back to it. So just bear that in mind. So RX90, let's spin it round. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull it back just so my guy is actually in front of it. And then I'm going to lift it up and I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. So S, let's make it smaller. And this basically is the start of our window. So how wide do we want it to be? I think this is a little bit too wide. So I'm going to press S and X and bring it in a little bit. And now what I'm going to use is mainly just the top part of here. The other part I'm actually going to bring down from this part. So what do I mean by that? I'm going to come in and just grab this part and this part. I'm going to delete them. So delete faces. And then what I want is the halfway points. In other words, the points that are pointing down. So we can see if we press 1, these points here, as you can see, are the ones where I want to come down from, because these are straight near enough. So what I want to do that is I'm going to come over and go into wireframe, and what that enables me to do, if I come now to vertex select, is now I can see where these 2 points are. Now if I press B and grab this box select all the way through, I can now come in, delete faces, and we can see that it's deleted up to this point. Now what I can do now is come round and just delete both of these. So I select it where these little points are, delete faces, and this is what you're actually left with. Now what we need to do is we need to go back to object mode. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to make it a little bit smaller. So if I press A, S, and Y, I can pull it back now into the window that I actually want. So I'm thinking something like that is looking pretty nice. And now I need to bring these sides down. So I'm going to come in, grab both of these sides, like so. So shift select, press 1 on the number pad, press E, and bring them down. Now you'll notice that they wobble around everywhere. Just press Z just to attach it to the actual Z axis, and then bring them down like so. Then finally what I'm going to do is I'm going to press F, and that then is just going to fill in this hole here. And that's then going to make it easier to create the next bit, because this is basically like a mold or something. You could think of it like that. And from this we need to take our window from it. Now this window at the moment is going to be a little bit too big. So I am going to make it a little bit smaller. So I'm going to make it this small, like so. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually create my window from this part. And it generally takes a few parts to actually create this. First of all, I always kind of start on the sill of the window. So I'll come in and I'll grab this part here. And what I'll do is I'll press Shift D, like so, and bring that down a little bit. And then I'll pull this out. So I'm going to press S and X, pull it out. And then I'm going to grab the front of it and just pull this out a little bit. And you can see already now we've got a pretty decent sill. Now if I grab all of this with L, pull it up to something like there, just underneath it, press the E button, then I can actually give it some depth as well, like so. All right, so that's that bit. Now let's put the next sill on. So I'm going to press Shift D. I'm going to press E to pull it out, like so. And now what I'm going to do, make things a little bit more complex, is we want to pull it out slightly on each of these sides. So I want to make sure that I'm on medium point because I want it to be pulled from this point this way and this way. And the way I'm going to do that is pressing S and X, and now I can pull those out like so. Now I'm going to grab the front, I'm going to pull this out like so. Finally then, because this is looking a little bit blocky at the bottom, I'm going to grab the whole thing in object mode, press Ctrl A or transforms, right click, set origin to geometry, and we're going to now come in to these edges here. So this one here and this one here, press Ctrl B, and we're just going to bevel them off. Now I think that just needs one bevel, so one bevel like this is fine because we're going to bevel the whole thing off as well. Now let's think about the rest of our window. So at the moment it'll be easier if we split this off. So if I grab this one and this one, press P, selection, then it's split off, and now I can grab my main window. I can press 1 on it, and I won't be able to see anything obviously because I'm in I'm in object mode. It needs to be in wireframe mode, so let's not do it that way. Let's come in, grab all of this, Alt, Shift and click, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to press the F button and fill that in. And I'm doing that so I can actually use this now to create my window. So if I press 1 now I can see what I'm doing. Face select, grab this face, press the I button. You'll see now I can actually bring it in to create my window. I'm going to bring it in further actually than I would normally because I'm going to bevel these parts off. Now we do have some problems here. If I make this window at the moment, it's not going to go down to my sill. It's just going to come down to here. You can see we're going to end up with a part like this. We don't really want that. What we want is this to come all the way down to the bottom. But if I bring this down to the bottom, you can see it distorts our window. So we don't want to do that. What we want to do instead is we want to use the knife tool. So if I come in, press K, grab this. Now at the moment, you can see it goes really nice there. But how do I get the angle perfectly? I can try and line it up. All you have to do is press A, and then you can line it up perfectly. Press left click, enter button, and now do the same on this. So drag it down, A, all the way to the bottom, left click, enter button, and there we go. So now we've got this part of the window. Now I want another sill coming across here. So while we've got this, we might as well come in, grab both of these, and I'm just going to press J, and then that will put us a piece of topology in there. All right, so far so good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this line to create some actual mesh that's going to come this way. So I'm going to press Shift D, like so. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that where I want it, and then I'm going to press E to extrude, move it along the x-axis like so, and then just pull it out to something like this. Now finally what I want to do is I want to grab both of these, so both of these edges here, and then I'm going to press 1. I'm going to pull them out just past these edges here. So I'm going to press S and X, pull them out, just so they're past there. Now at the moment, as you can see, I need to not be in front of you because I can't really see what I'm doing. So I'm just going to pull them out to there. And then I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab the whole thing with L. I'm going to press E to pull that down. And there we go. We have a very, very nice window. Now we need to work on the inside of here. So at the moment we've pulled all of this out. And what I want to do is I want to keep these parts. So I'm going to come in, keeping this part and this part and this part. Press Y like so. And there we go. Now we've got that part separated from the rest of it. Now at the moment we have a window like this, but we have this part going around here, which is going to make it actually difficult. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in, Alt Shift and click, or click. So Alt Shift click going all the way around. And what I want to do is I want to delete these faces. So delete faces, and you'll end up with something like that. The other problem we've got is at the moment down here, we have this edge here, which we don't really want. So if I come grab all of these, press delete, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to press limited dissolve, and that's going to get rid of those. Now we shouldn't have any vertices on here. Before doing that, you will see that we had vertices here, and that's what we're trying to get rid of. So delete, limited dissolve, and there we go with fixed. Now the next thing I want to look at, I need to hide this part out of the way. So if I hide this, L, H, you can see that we've got an n-gon here. What is an n-gon? An n-gon is more than 4 sides. So typically in modeling, you have triangles and you have quads. Quads are obviously 4, triangles are 3. Quads are good, triangles are better generally, unless you're dealing with animation or something like that. But generally when we retopologize things, we retopologize in quads, not triangles. And the reason is because it's easier. It's actually easier to model and retopologize or make topology in quads rather than making triangles. You'd have a triangle here, so this side, a triangle that side, and that's hard work. So we generally model in quads. Now what happens is when you send it through to a games engine like Unreal Engine or Unity, it will actually triangulate the model for you. So it actually triangulates every quad and every part for you. But you really want to get out of the habit of leaving models with bad topology, because if you send it through to someone else and they come to UV unwrap it, it just causes a mess. The lighting doesn't work in it properly, the animation's hard to do. So in general, you want to have quads in your models. Now at the moment, you can see that this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides, and anything over 4 sides, a quad, is classed as an n-gon, and we don't really want n-gons. So, simple fix to fix that, we grab both of these, press J, both of these, press J, and that fixes that issue with this part of mesh. Alright, so now we've discussed that, what we want to do now is, we want to extrude this out on the next one and actually bevel this off. Alright, so the window, as you can see, it's going to take a couple of lessons to get the hang of it, but once you've actually got the way to actually build windows, they're actually pretty easy, and creating, you know, many windows that look pretty realistic and pretty stylized is quite easy. Alright everyone, so I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks a lot, bye bye.